And we're live.
Woo! Welcome back.
Welcome back.
So today we're talking about reclaiming your morning rituals versus routines. So we both like this one. I am not very strong in my morning routines anymore, and I need to get back to it. But I'd love to hear what your mornings look like. If you have any rituals and routines that you like.
Yeah, well, the first thing I was thinking about was the difference between the ritual and the routine. And I feel like the routine is like the things maybe that everybody does or everybody wants to do, brush their teeth, wash their face, like the things that you have to do to physically be able to show up in the world, whether the world is like your home office or the world is work that you do outside or dropping your kids off, whatever the world is outside of your bedroom and bathroom. So I feel like that's what they meant by routine. But I was curious if you had any other thoughts about like the distinction between the routine and the ritual.
Um, well, I call it becoming a person. I'll wake up and have my coffee, right? And then I'm like, okay, I'm going to get on my pajamas and transform into what the world knows me as.
Mm.
I have transformed some rituals into routines as far as like chronic illness is concerned. So something I talk about with my clients in the world is sort of making your routines into rituals. So the one that I go to, I take medication every morning and every evening. And so I have this ritual where I'm filling my pill bottle on Sunday night, right? Because you got to fill it for the week. And I sort of think about myself in the future week. Oh, Corey's going to have a great week. She's going to make so much money. She's going to build these new relationships. She's going to, take her mental health walk every day, right? Like all these things. Like she's going to do great. She's going to feel great. So I'm sort of giving myself good vibes on Sunday. And then every morning and every evening when I take those pills, I think back to myself when I was refilling, like, oh, I'm so well taken care of. Corey takes great care of me. I have so much gratitude for her, working on our health together. So I call it time traveling gratitude. And you really could sort of apply that to anything. It could be like if you're struggling to go to the gym, right? When you go to the gym, think about your future self, right? And how your 85-year-old self and like how
Hmm.
thankful that you'll be that you have worked on your glutes and your shoulders and you're like not falling apart. And then also at the gym, when you're sort of like recognizing you're making gains, maybe you think back to your past self, like look at how hard I've worked, give yourself gratitude for working hard. So I think you could sort of turn any routine into a ritual. You just kind of have to have the mindset for it and then the stick to itiveness, right?
Yeah.
Keep doing it.
Yeah, I agree. I think the distinction for me is also the intention behind it. And that's similar to mindset, right? That like, oh, making your coffee in the morning could be routine, but it could very easily become ritual. Like even in the example that you got of like your past self and your future self, maybe you put your coffee grinds in at night, and so in the morning you wake up to the smell of freshly brewed coffee, and you can like make a latte versus just pouring a cup of black coffee. All of those things can like transform something that is very routine, mundane, everyday, something that we all do, into something that is ritualistic and specific and special to you because there is some intention, some deeper meaning, some value connection to what you're doing. So yeah, I know I took us on a detour of with that, but I was just thinking about that first, of like the difference between like the routine and the ritual. So to your original question, what my morning routine slash rituals are, I'm gonna start routine. My routine is, I would say, pretty similar to most people. I wake up with an alarm. My alarm is on my Apple Watch, so it's on my wrist. It's like a small vibration on my wrist. Now, I will say that that has been a game changer for me. I don't know about you, but I used to wake up to like sounds. Like, yes,
From like the 90s, whatever. Everybody had the same alarm.
yes. And I don't know if you ever had the alarm dream. Like, you're like in your dream, but you hear the alarm and you're like, wait, is the alarm going off? Am I dreaming? I don't know what's going on anymore. I'm stressed because I think the alarm is going off, but it feels like it can't be the right time. The alarm can't be going off. It's too early. And so I don't have that. I don't have like phantom alarm dreams with the little wrist vibration from the watch. And is a very gentle wake up to me. And so it has made a difference in how I wake up. I think that the alarm sound in particular created an environment where I was kind of anxious upon waking
Yeah.
up. Um, and I didn't have any I'm not a person who like multiple alarms need to go off to get me up. One alarm is enough, but that first one was still like a jolt to my system and didn't feel good. Um, so I cut that out. I had to let her go, and the Apple Watch has to gently shake my wrist and wake me up in the morning.
Hey, girl, hey, the sun
Yeah.
is up, so should you also be?
Mhm, mhm. A nice little gentle wake up. What about you? Are you an alarm person? What's the first what like wakes you up in the morning?
Um, well, in my corporate days, I was definitely an alarm person. It was a phone alarm. And I would set multiple like backup alarms, like just in case, right? Like some days fine, most days fine. Some days were like, I'm exhausted. I just need like 15 more minutes. And to have that sort of like security that I could fall back asleep and it would wake me up again was its own kind of pleasure in a way. You know
Mhm.
what I mean? Um, yeah, I used to have the loud alarm. But yeah, I've had an alarm clock in my life since I was going to school, right? Like I was like school age and I had my own alarm in my
Me
own
too.
room and I had to set it every day. And yeah, now that I am self-employed, I have a little more room to sort of like have a strange sleep schedule, which feels weird to me. It's been several different things over the last almost year now.
Mhm.
Um, and like I've had weird sleep too, where I wake up at like, I don't know, 1, 2, 3 in the morning and I don't fall back asleep until like 6 or 7 in the morning. And I didn't get all of the hours of my sleep because we have a sleep tracker, right? And I'm like, ooh, I need like another 45 minutes or like 2 hours and 10 minutes or something. And I'm like, okay, I'm gonna set an alarm for like whatever time that is and try and fall back asleep. So I think that's been weird, but I also have read that there was definitely a period of time where people would like wake up in the middle of the night. They would like have people over for snacks and like everybody would go back to bed.
A snack sounds fantastic. You
I'm
had me
so
at snack.
excited. Yeah,
I wanna live in
they
those
would like
times.
wake up in the middle of the night, 1, 2, 3 o'clock in the morning, and like they would have snacks at their house. You go to the neighbor's house, and we all have snacks together, hang out for an hour or two, and then everybody goes back to bed. So I feel like what feels weird for me is like that break in the middle, but it might actually be natural for like my ancestors, you know? So I don't know. Maybe it's not so weird. I've also heard too, if you wake up in the middle of the night like that, that it's like your ancestors or the universe is trying to give you a message at that time. So you should sort of like meditate or something. I haven't
Mm.
tried. I'm terrible at meditating, but I've heard that as well. So if you end up like with a weird schedule like that, there may be, a reason behind it, I guess, or at least I think.
Okay. I love that. I never wake up in the middle of the night. Not never, but it is very, very rare. Now, my
Yeah.
husband, on the other hand, does wake up in the middle of the night. So I'm gonna have to share this with him, because I just the other day was having a conversation with him of like, we should probably problem solve this. Like, I don't know if it's impacting the way that you feel when you actually wake up. Let's try to figure out what we can change, and actively like track your sleep, just like did I wake up in the middle of the night or not? And let's see how frequently it's happening.
Mhm.
But we're logistics brains girly. So we're like,
Yeah.
let's problem solve, baby. You're not just gonna not sleep well on my watch. We're gonna figure it out.
Yeah. Well, and it may not actually be an issue. It's just how he sleeps, right?
Yeah.
That's how his body is wired. And I've gone back and forth into it and out of it. There's actually like seasons of the year that I'm more likely to have wake up in the middle of the night sleep than not. So I think it's different per person, but I don't think it's that weird. It's like it's been documented that humans do this. I think the only reason we feel like we're forced to get, the full 8 hours in one soup has to do with productivity and like
Yeah.
work, right? Like corporate work. So, that may be sort of like a false assumption, I guess.
Yeah. Okay. That's good to know. And I do think that to your point of like, it is easier to think that whatever you do is normal until it's compared to somebody right next to you, right? Like you're
Yeah.
sleeping in bed with this person who's like sleeping all 8 hours, and you're like, I don't sleep like that. What's going on? Why are you getting
How
so
do
much
you
sleep?
do that? Yeah.
Yes, yeah. So okay, that was a good point. I appreciate that call out. So we're both alarms people. We have been alarm people for a while because I, like you said, I also woke myself up, got ready for school, did all of those things independently. So I had to have an alarm. Post alarm, I am a maybe like 4 to 5 minute linger in bed person. Just like, okay, what do I feel right now? Do I feel Am I like jumping at the bits, ready to get up and go out and tackle the day, or am I feeling a little bit like slower? Just an internal assessment of how I'm feeling about my sleep and how I'm feeling going into the day. And that happens while I'm still in bed. And I feel like that might be a little bit more ritual than it is routine. I think it's like I'm starting this day and I want to go into it with just a little bit of a check in with myself and like how I'm feeling. From there, I do the things that you have to do to present yourself as a human, wash my face, brush my teeth, do all of those things. But I'm also a person who like will wake up with a song in their mind and their heart. Sometimes it comes from like whatever I was reflecting on or like how I was feeling. There may be a word that comes that makes me think of a lyric to a song. So then I start singing the song and I play the song while I'm getting ready. Sometimes it'll be like I just let my thoughts wander while I'm doing all those like get myself ready things. And then there will be a word or a song that comes in. And then I have to play said song while I'm getting myself ready, sing along to said song. And that is a favorite part of my morning routine of like, I wonder what song is going to come to me this morning and like what I'm going to want to sing along to. And sometimes I don't let the first one go because sometimes the first one is just like not as good as the later ones. So I'll
It's like
sing
the end
that
of your
one.
dream. Yeah.
Yes, like, I'll say the lyrics, but I until I get the song that I, like, also want to hear and sing along with, I'll let it rock and because it's gonna come.
Mhm. Yeah, I also have been listening to, I mean, I used to put on my favorite CD when I got up in the morning to get, take a shower and everything. And it was like one of four different CDs, and they would just play kind of like on repeat until it was time to go. And then I've also enjoyed, I don't know if you have Spotify, but Spotify has a day list that
Mm,
tracks like what you've been listening to for the last, I'm not sure how long, and then recommends like a list for you. And it changes like morning, afternoon, evening. The weekends, I think it only changes one time, but it's really interesting to see like, oh, today is grunge rock and angry girl emo something, right? Like whatever it is. Or today is like 60s and 70s and 80s, like pop or something like that. But it's really interesting to see like what's going on like in here over time.
mhm.
I'm like, really, Tuesdays? I always listen to this. That's crazy. So that was an interesting tidbit that somebody shared with me, and I'll share with all y'all because I think it's cool to check out.
Yeah, that is cool. I am an Apple Music person, and they are not that smart. I can go back in my search history and just see what I searched, and sometimes I will do that at the end of the week, and I'm like, "Whoa, we went a lot of different places." Sometimes I look at my search history and I laugh at myself. I'm like, "What was going on?" Like, we went so many different places in terms of the artists that we listen to or the style of music that we listen to. So, yeah, that's really cool. I want to know what the 4 CDs were when you were getting ready for school. What do you remember?
Oh, it was Cake, the yellow one, Fashion Nugget. It was Smashing Pumpkins, Bullet with Butterfly Wings. It was Foo Fighters, The Color and the Shape. Very like 90s, like alternative. I was absolutely that girl. The fourth one was Metallica Reload.
Mm,
Mhm. Yeah, that was the jam.
that's a lot of energy in the morning. I feel like I would be pumped. Like,
While I was drinking Mountain Dew and, putting my hair, I used to wear my hair used to be really long then, and I would put it in a French twist every day. So I'm like in the
okay.
bathroom doing this French twist and with the Mountain Dew, the Pop Tarts, that was breakfast like through most of high school. It's not surprising I ended up diabetic.
I mean, you did have, but they fed all of us those things.
They
Sugar,
did.
just
I
sugar.
just kept going. I just kept going in the same direction for like, decades after that until, 4 or 5 years ago. So yeah.
Yeah, that's so funny. Okay, after the get ready, I am a full human, um, part of my day, my morning ritual. is something that I've been practicing for maybe about almost like 2 or 3, maybe 4 years. Maybe 4 years I've been practicing this morning ritual. The first part is always meditation, 5 to 10 minute meditation. It goes back and forth. Some years it's like uh just like open awareness meditation. I'm just like, what do I feel? What is this sensation? How am I feeling right now? What was that thought? That's interesting. Sometimes it's guided meditation. So I've like completed a guided meditation program called Healthy Minds. It's an app. I really recommend it. It takes you through lesson, so like a 5 to 10 minute lesson about a specific topic, and then a guided meditation practice to go along with that topic. And it's like big themes. It's like connection and awareness and kindness and purpose, like big themes that are, I feel, universal, and really helpful as you are just journeying through life. And so I've done that maybe twice now, and I'll one time I did it like straight through, and then sometimes I just go back and I'm like, I feel like I need a little bit more connection. Let me pay attention to the connection guided meditations and see how they're doing. Sometimes I'm like, I don't want to just let my thoughts wander. Let me go back in and see which of my favorite meditations and just scroll and select which one I want to listen to, and kind of
Mhm.
be guided in that way.
I love that. I actually went to a session some time ago with this fella, and he was sort of doing meditations based on um, your identity and sort of like shaping your identity,
Mm,
like getting rid of bad habits and taking on better habits, and like who do I want to be, and being mindful, not just like being yourself and like walking through the world, but being like more intentional about that. And that's one of those things that I want to do daily in the morning. I actually made a GPT prompt that I can use morning, afternoon, and evening. And I have to sort of, it's like a journaling situation.
mhm,
So that's something I want to bring more into my mornings. When I was just laid off, I had a very strict schedule of like, we do this, we do this, check boxes, right? Because I need that, little hit of, the hormones that make me feel good. Check,
yeah,
check, 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 check. Meditation was definitely one of those things, but it was just a 1 minute meditation because I have a hard time concentrating. Um, but I think if I can ritualize the meditation from my viewpoint, it will be more something I want to do instead of something I'm forcing myself to do, if that makes
yeah,
sense. It's hard to pay attention when you're forcing yourself. And I need to
yeah,
change my identity that like I am someone who meditates, right? I keep telling myself I can't meditate. If I keep saying that to myself, I'm going to keep not doing it, right? So
mhm.
that's part of my identity that I need to grow. So, um,
And I feel like I've been meditating for at least 6, maybe 7 years, and it's always looked different, like, how I meditate, what style of meditation I'm choosing, what it feels like when I do it, all of those things have changed, but I feel like in the journey of meditating for as long as I have, it really has been, like, everything can be meditation, like, anything and everything that you're doing, it sounds like you're walking already, right? Like that walk could be meditation. It doesn't necessarily have to look like I'm sitting down, and I'm just, whatever. I also feel like I have heard some things that maybe I now believe that, like, if you pray or you chant or you do anything, that is you kind of sending your message out of what you want, what you're trying to manifest. Meditation is your opportunity to listen, to like download, to get some feedback back. And sometimes that feedback is the chatter in your mind. Like, oh, I didn't know I was thinking or feeling this. So the thoughts are a welcomed and encouraged part of the meditation experience. It's not necessarily like, oh, I can't sit still, I can't stop thinking, that's a bad thing. It's like, no, I'm thinking about these things because they are things that are on my mind. I can choose how I respond and react to them. And it's a great opportunity to be able to practice that in meditation because they're not going to stop. The thoughts don't really stop. It's just like how you react and respond to them that not only helps you in meditation, but helps you in the real world. So that's my little tidbit of like, you're probably already doing it. Just recognize that it can be everything, and in it being everything, it also includes thoughts.
yeah, the YouTube video that I give myself is sort of the prompt for that GPT journaling thing. Um, it's really about the body. So he's like, okay, start put your whole brain focus on your hands, right? Your eyes are closed, put your whole brain focus on your hands. And he's like, do you notice it tingling? And I'm like, I do. And then he like moves it all over your body. So it's sort of like relaxing. It's sort of like getting into your body more, which I've been working on.
Mhm.
So it's very helpful for that. But also, I like the thought or the concept, I guess, of like that your body has things to say, and I need to make room to listen to what my body has
Mm,
to say.
mhm.
Um, and not just keep running around like a chicken with my head cut off. Like, listen and, think about, chew on it, right? And then, so, like, what is the response that I have? So, I think meditating in the morning is something I definitely want to do, like, more consistently. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm with you. I definitely feel like I recognize the difference that it has made in my life, in part because I'm a big feeler. I am an emotional person, and so the space that meditation gives me, much like that, like first 5 minutes in bed where I'm just like, how am I feeling? What's going on? Meditation is another layer of that, of like, okay, how am I feeling? What's going on? And sometimes it's meditation and journaling. It's like, ooh, I'm feeling things I need to get out of here. So let's write those things down and like let those things go. Sometimes the meditation alone is enough. But speaking of Chat GPT, it reminded me that I did the human design Chat GPT a couple of weeks ago and like asked it to give me a morning routine. And
Ooh,
it suggested that I ask myself like, where am I at emotionally? So that's one of the things that I'll ask myself in my meditation or before I start it. How do I feel? And like, do I feel anything in any particular part of my body? And then it asked me to think about what would feel good today. So, like, what thing can I do? What experience can I have that will feel good today? And that revolutionary.
yeah.
Like, actively thinking about what would feel good in a day, game changer. And so that is incorporated into that morning ritual because a part of it is to do my little to-do list for the day. And instead of just things task, I'll put my what would feel good and put that on my to-do list as well.
I like that as just sort of like a daily, first of all, checking in with the body before you get out of bed. I love that. I will probably change the name of my alarm to like, how do we feel this morning?
Mhm.
So like I have the alarm. I'm like, oh, I do need to get up. How am I feeling today? And then like the what would feel good today? I think that's amazing because like maybe you already have something set on your calendar for today that you're excited about. But if you don't, like, you
Yes.
know, maybe call Sandra and see if she wants to go out for coffee, right? Like go to the park and like read under the tree, right? Like what would feel good today? And maybe it's rainy and just like a cup of coffee sounds good, right? Like I think
Mhm.
day by day, it really could feel like anything. I love that.
Yeah, it revolutionary. I was like, "Man, I probably should have," uh we said the word. I
Oh,
want to I want to make sure that I continue to do that, and every person that I've shared with has been like, "Oh, that's great." Um, let's see, where were we at? Oh, okay, so post meditation, recently it has been the to-do list because usually in the meditation things come into my mind. So if I journal to get those things out, I want to write down the things that I have had in my mind that I want to do. But then I'll do gratitude. I think about the things that I'm grateful for, name those things, gratitude, then write into a prayer. And my prayer has been a lot more structured in like recent years, just in the sense that like I try to make sure I pray for like everyone that I love and I'm connected with to have access to the gifts that they naturally receive and that they can share those gifts for the greater good of the world around us. I pray that everyone has an abundance of blessings and healing and positive energy. I pray over my marriage and my husband. And then for myself, I always pray for peace and protection and prosperity. And so it's like, it's a good little like ritual in the sense that like I know what I'm going to say and what things I'm asking for. Um and it's good. It just feels like, okay, I know these are the things that I'm pretty much always going to want. And then some special requests. If I get a hotline call, somebody asks me to pray for them or something is going on that day, I'll add those things in. But I think like I was a big fan of the Lord's Prayer. I went to Catholic school for high school. into it. Okay, baby, give me a script. I can follow it. Let's go from A to B. Time tested, true and true. Everybody knows this one. It's a banger. It went triple platinum in heaven. Let's pray this one.
It's still
And
going
so
strong. Yeah.
it's still going strong. And so I feel like that is where like, okay, my prayer needs a certain construct, at least for me to get into the routine to create the ritual. I think like having something that you repeat creates that ritual. And so yeah, that is a part of it. And then the very last thing is some sort of like daily inspiration motivation. So it flip flops. I did the daily stoic for a couple of years. That was interesting and cool. I've done, I don't remember the name of the other one, but the one that I'm doing right now is a year of conscious living. And that one is pretty cool. It has daily prompts with like a little story of a principle of conscious living, and then a daily practice to go along with it of like, today you should practice this, try to be mindful of this or do this thing. Um, and then after that, it's like, okay, it's time to eat breakfast and do all the other things. Now, that's another big change. I used to do that after that whole morning ritual would come after I gotten dressed, eaten breakfast. I would do that and then be like, okay, now it's time to start my day. In the past month or so, I moved it up. After I get dressed, go right into my morning ritual and then eat breakfast. And it feels great. And the biggest difference is that I don't feel rushed. Usually, if it's the last thing that I'm doing, that means if something went wrong or if breakfast took longer to prepare, I'm trying to rush and get this done before I'm starting my day. If I do it first, if I'm rushing to eat breakfast, I can usually eat breakfast in the meeting that I have or,
On the
have
go.
coffee instead. Yeah, like do something where breakfast could still happen while I'm in motion versus that I can't. The only thing I can do is shrink it. I can cut something out or say like, okay, maybe I'm gonna pray while I'm walking to the car, something like that. But like there isn't a way to do that while in motion because it requires some intention and attention. So I switched it to being the first thing that I do, and I really appreciate that.
No, yeah, I like that. I do intermittent fasting, so I don't usually eat till 2 or 3 in the afternoon. I'll have a snack and then I'll start making dinner. So, yeah, breakfast doesn't rush me. I usually have breakfast for dinner. If I'm going to have breakfast, I'll have like eggs and
Ooh,
bacon.
yeah.
But I do have coffee. I have tea in the morning, but I mean, that practically does itself. So,
Hmm.
but I do like the idea of, oh, it's 11:11.
Yay.
I do like the having the intention of doing it, first thing when you wake up, like as you're sort of becoming yourself for the day. I think
Mhm.
meshing those things together could be pretty powerful. And especially if you're making it ritualistic, it sort of feels good and like soothing, calming, right? I feel like waking up not to the alarm and then like also like rolling into like this nice place that you like to be inside your head and inside your body. I think that we probably would want to wake up more so than not.
Yeah. Agreed. Agreed. Uh, Another thing that I was just thinking about that I usually do that I'm trying to get better at is I usually don't check my messages in the morning as well. Like it's a part of my routine to I'll use my phone to play the song, but if there are messages, I'll like get them off of the home screen or like intentionally not check them because it's chatter. It's like other voices that are entering into this sacred space that like in any other instance I would not invite a group text about random stuff at work or like a group text from my friends into my morning routine. Like I'm not having coffee with you people. So I don't want
Yeah.
to know what's going on yet. So I think when we get to the place where we're talking about what's going to change, what we're trying to do differently, I think that I'm going to extend my do not disturb on my phone longer into the morning because sometimes it's just on the screen. Like you just pick up the phone and I'm trying to play the song and all the notifications are there and you can read the little blurb of the text messages and now you're in the sacred space. I think if the do not disturb is on, then I don't even know that it's there until I want to know that it's there.
Okay, well, I'm terrible at that. I'll just say that first. However, I do have the setting on my phone where it doesn't show the blurb of the text, it just says who it's from. That's
Hmm.
for Messenger, that's for text messages, that's for it was for Slack, at work. And I had to do it for Slack because I would get information that other people couldn't know about. And if I left my
Mm.
phone sitting on my desk, people would get, information they weren't supposed to have. So at least I could filter like what I do or don't feel is important enough. Um, Also, I wanted to say, I don't know if you have like one of those like Alexa speaker things. Not
Hmm.
necessarily. Like Google has one too. I have the Google one, but you can ask it to play your song. You can connect your Apple whatever or Spotify or whatever and ask it to play the song for you. That might be an effective use of technology and also like not disturbing your peace.
Yeah. No, I love that. And you're right. We have, I can't say her name or else she's gonna, know I'm
Oh
talking about
yeah,
her. We have a couple of guests in our home that listen and can play music who shall remain nameless.
nameless.
Um, so yes, I can talk to them and get them to play the song. But I like that idea of like changing the setting that it just says message instead of the content of the message, because that would be helpful. It's never important. I don't know. I know that you said that you struggle with it, but it's never important. Text message is my least favorite way to communicate because honestly, you're sending me this because it's not important. You're sending me this to respond to at my leisure. I don't need this to be on my home screen because if I get to respond to my leisure and it's not important, get off of the main page,
Yeah,
disappear to the side.
yeah. I do not disturb when I'm like recording something or in a meeting or whatever. Other than that, it's, I get some sort of message or, ping every like 8 seconds, I think it is. It's exhausting.
It
Well, that's why
is.
I moved from Apple Watch to Fitbit because my wrist was going off every 8 seconds and my battery wouldn't last more than, 2/3 of a day. So that was like not okay. So I have no notifications on this one, which is great. So if I put my phone down and go do something, that's just undisturbed time.
I love that. I don't have any messages on my watch. Like I turn the notifications off because I agree. It's like, again, this is not urgent. None of this is urgent. I'm no one's mom. There's nobody who needs me that bad that I need to be accessible. I don't know. It's nothing that you need from me. You're all adults. You can figure it out.
Well, I think too, like being in corporate America and having to be available like 24/7, that was just like the expectation, right? Like at a minimum, you have to be available all the time. Like not all my bosses would say that, but it's a 24-hour operation,
Hmm.
right? And I have a team that's working all day and all night, right? So, I kind of, I think there's still part of my brain that makes me feel like I need to be available 24/7. But to your point, like for what? I don't work there anymore. So,
For what? Nothing. And even when you did work there, again, these were all adults. I feel like there are certain industries where like yes, being on call makes sense. A doctor, a nurse, like you are going to save someone's life. Operations, the stuff that I did in ed tech, learning and development, no one's life is being saved. It's important. I'm not saying that our work is not important or nor am I trying to diminish our work. But if it happens at 3 p.m. or if it happens at 9 a.m. the next day, it'll still get done. And that's okay. Everyone
well,
will
and
be alive.
your systems and your delegation, right, as a leader, should allow people to be autonomous during their shift and get things done and make decisions within a framework that you set. If it's outside of that, yeah, give me a call. But by and large, I mean, if the building catches fire or like when we had that big freeze in Dallas, we had all of our water pipes burst and the sprinklers were just raining down on all of our operations and all of our product and everything. Like that warrants a phone call,
Yeah.
right? Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. We digress. We
Mm.
talked about my morning rituals. I want to hear about yours. Even if whatever today looks like versus what the past looks like, whatever you want to share. I'm just curious what the rituals are.
Sure. So every morning I get up, use the restroom, and then it's time for coffee. I like, waddle out. My animals are like ready for breakfast. Like, mom, it's time for breakfast. So we feed the animals and take the dog out to do her business. I have a cup of coffee. Um, I usually check my emails just because I am still applying for a job. So if it's like 9 o'clock in the morning and I wake up, like I just want to make sure I didn't miss anybody. Um, uh, I check social media, right? Like my friends will send me TikTok videos or whatever, so I'll check those. Um, I check the news only like twice a day, just because it's a lot.
Mhm.
And my husband, while we were on vacation, actually recommended that I sort of like cut back. I already had because like I definitely was feeling some kind of way about everything going on, and I cut back. Like I can't fix any of these things. I'm just like listening about it, and that made me feel more anxious than not. So
Mhm.
cutting back, I think, has been very helpful for me. Um, yeah, so I'll have a cup of coffee or two. I used to do coloring in the morning. I got like a coloring book from my sister for Christmas, and I would just, finish one page in the morning every day, sort of listening to calming music, or um, I had Audible at the time, so I would like listen to whatever book I was listening to. And then I would sort of like, okay, I've done these fun things in the morning. I'm gonna be a person, right? So I would go get dressed, wash my face, brush my teeth. And I do have a little manifestation post-it note in my bathroom. I am now living in my highest timeline. Every day meets me with blessings and abundance.
Mm.
Just as something to say to myself every morning to, I guess, set my intention, but also like help me feel my place in the world a little more groundedly. There was a period where I was doing the Mel Robbins mirror exercise.
Is that the
You heard
power
that?
pose?
No, like you stand in your bathroom mirror and you put your hand on the mirror and you talk to yourself about yourself. Yeah,
Oh,
I
I've
haven't done it
never.
in a while. It felt really weird to me. I feel like I need to process my emotions a little more before I can get like at that level, but it was interesting to say the least. Um, yeah. And I feel like I'm one of those people that does things in the same order every day. And if I do them out of order, my whole day is like off. Right. So when
Mhm.
I take a shower, it's always like wash my hair first, wash my face next, wash my body next, right? Towel off. And then like, lotions and potions on hair, lotions and potions on face, lotions on body. And if I do it in like the wrong order, I'm just like off. And I think that's something interesting, because if you want to start doing things a different way or thinking about them a different way, literally just doing things physically in a different way will change the way that your mind works.
Mm.
And I know this is true because in high school, I would always take the same routes to classes, right? I was a big high school. And I would change if I really was just sort of feeling some way about something, I would change the way that I got there, and my mindset would just be totally different, or I would have like an aha moment or something. So I think as we're talking about like the rituals of the morning and sort of wanting to change or shape identity, right? Like I'm working on, I think by changing, even if we're doing the same thing, even in a different order or a different time of day or something, can sort of trigger, a little dissonance in the brain that it sort of
Mhm.
has to compensate for. And I think that's an interesting thing to explore as well.
Yeah. No, I love that. And I feel like that's where I'm at right now, that I'm trying to figure out what am I going to add into my morning routine that will best prime me for the type of days that I want to have. Because that's what I call all that stuff that I listed as a part of my morning ritual. I call it priming. Like I'm trying to prime my mind, my body, everything for the day that I have ahead. And the things that I have like tweaked or added have more so been geared towards the life that I had when I worked a full-time job, right? Like it was about getting my emotional energy ready to be able to facilitate trainings virtually and to be in meetings with people and to do creative work. And some of that is still true about the life that I live as a self-employed person, but there are different things that I need to be primed for now. Now I need to be primed to think a little bit more creatively. And now I need to be primed to manage some of my fears as it relates to things that I do as an entrepreneur, and manage some of my I guess like worries and doubts. Like I guess a part of what I need to do is build my confidence in seeing myself as an entrepreneur. And so, what are the rituals that I'm going to now incorporate into my morning routine to best bring those things that are already there? They're already present. It's not about like creating them, but just to emphasize, reinforce, and bring those things to the surface so I can activate them and be primed for a day that will lead me to the success that I need now. So yeah, I definitely agree. I think that like the switch, even if it's a small switch, is a thing enough to trigger this new thing. So I'm curious, have you decided on what the new ritual will be? What are you exploring? What's that look like?
I I really kind of want to go back to like waking up at the same time every day because it
Mhm.
varies like very broadly. Um, and really having, because some days it's all the things and sometimes it's most of the things, and some days it's none of the things, except for taking my medication. That was the part that I didn't talk about. Yes, taking my medication. Yeah, and like my daily walk, right? Like I want to do that in the morning because it is hot outside. I need to do it like
Mhm.
before 7:30 or 8. This morning it was 76 by the time I got up, but the humidity was so high it feels like 92. So it's the corn sweat.
No.
I've lived in the Midwest my whole life and I had never heard of the corn sweat. And that they're saying that's why the humidity is so high. I'm like, really?
What does that mean? The corn is sweating?
The corn is releasing moisture into the air because it's so hot.
Wow.
And I'm like, it has been hot before and nobody ever talked about corn sweat. Like, what are you guys making up right now?
I've never heard
We're
of
going to
that
hear about
before.
some kind of like new fertilizer or something that they released that's like toxic for us. And that's why there was corn sweat this year and never before. Anyway, we won't go down that trail. Yeah, so I want to be more forceful about getting myself up on time. I also did really well having a list of things to do morning or afternoon, evening, sort of like, buckets of time for myself.
Mm.
Um, I do really well with that. I'm a scheduler, planner, brain person, so that feels really good to me. I had like a spreadsheet for every day, and I had my morning rituals, right, like coloring and all of these different things on there. But yeah, like even my husband and I were talking about like I've gotten off of like planning our meals for dinner. That used to be like a joy of my life. I don't do that anymore, and I really want to
Neither.
get back to it. I'm just like randomly grocery shopping and like, okay, we got meat in the fridge and we have a vegetable in the fridge, and that's what we're having for dinner today. And then some days I'm like, I don't want to cook, and Mike's like, okay, I guess I'll just have ramen. I'm like, so I think planning out the week too it feels really good for me. So I like to put that in there, sort of on Friday, maybe Friday mornings. I just go through and plan out the meals for the week or something. But I definitely want to go back to having lists. I want to have like a regular wake up time. I've had my vacation now, and it's time to be like
Mhm.
work Corey instead of like vacation mode Corey. So I think we'll start with that tomorrow. I woke up today at like 9:30. You need up at like 6:30. So
Are you a morning person? Do you enjoy waking up early?
uh there was a period when I was working that I had to be at the office by 5:30 in the morning. Operations started at 6 and I had to have their plan out to them by 6. And I sort of did that for gosh, like almost the whole time I was at that company. It was like 6 years. And it was a 12-hour day. I negotiated to get like 2 or 3 hours off in the afternoon to go home and go to the pool. And then send out the plan for the second shift that started at 6 o'clock. Um, so I kind of became a morning person, whether I liked it or not. As like an adolescent, I would be up later. Like my friends and I would all sit up on AOL at night in the chats and just sort of like talk and goof off and like whatever until like 11, 12 at night. And then I have to be up at, 6 or whatever for school the next day. So I was more of a night owl and did not like getting up at that time. But I've done both ways. I like both. I feel more productive if I am working on things while the sun is up.
Yeah.
So as far as being a productive member of society, I think it feels better to get up earlier now.
Yeah. I feel that. I used to consider myself a morning person and get up early consistently, like regardless of what was going on. And I've shifted to more of a mid-morning person. Like this 10:30, 11 o'clock time is the time where I've had enough time to myself in the morning from waking up and doing that routine and like getting my rituals together to feel fully primed to attack the day without compromising on my sleep. That's the only reason why I feel like being a morning person is a challenge for me, is that most of the people that I know who wake up early in the morning have compromised on their sleep. There's something that they wanted to watch or do, or they get home late and so they need to eat dinner at 8, and then if they're eating at 8 and having to be at bed by 10 in order to actually get the full amount of sleep that they need, they're not satisfied. It's like I didn't even have any time to myself. And so I think that I've shifted to more of a mid-morning person just because I like to have time to myself in the evenings. I like to give myself, a few hours. And if I'm starting at 10, that means I'm working until like 6:30, and that's okay. But that means that I need those, 4 or so hours at the end of the day to be able to actually have to myself. So that's why I asked, because I was just curious of if it's natural, preferred, or if it's conditioning. Um, Another reason why I feel like I can't go back to a traditional 9 to 5 is like I've learned this about myself, and I'm like, I'm not willing to just wake up at an arbitrary time because you said it. Like,
It just doesn't fit well for you. Yeah.
yeah, this doesn't mean anything. The work that I'm going to do from 10:30 to 6 is just as positive and productive as the work that I would do from 9 to 5. So,
Mhm.
uh, you know,
Yeah. You'd have to pair up with a company that understands that value. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. Let's see. We talked about what is. What do we want to be in terms of thinking about morning rituals and routines in the future? We're past the halfway point in the year, so we got a solid what, like 4-ish months to be able to put this new thing into swing. And
Mhm.
your personal New Year is coming up. Your birthday's coming up. My personal
Oh,
New
yes.
Year, my birthday just passed. So
Yep.
our own New Year's have started. And so we can put something into play for our personal New Year when it comes to morning rituals that maybe isn't to do with the calendar year. What do you think that might be for you?
Yeah, for me, it's going to be getting up at 6 or 6:30. I want to remake the list of to do things, and I want to separate it out kind of like you have, where you've got 3-4 hours. For me, probably closer to 2, just because I have less rituals at the moment. But like we'll see what happens. Um, yeah, have that list of things. I definitely want to make sure I'm incorporating that meditation and journaling situation I had started for myself. I think that's cool and important, and it feels good when I do it. So um, I like that very much. I definitely want to stick with the ritualizing of taking my medication in the morning. I
Yep.
think that's cool and important. And really kind of kick myself into, taking a walk every morning,
Mm,
but it's not raining. That's the one I can't do, is when it's raining. Um, but yeah, and I like the list and ticking off the list. So I need to, bring that back into my life for sure.
Some place to track it. I think
Mhm.
for me, it's gonna be about finding some thinking activity, like some type of either growth mindset based activity or a divergent thinking activity, something to just like prime my brain to be expansive um, and creative. And I don't know if that's going to be every day, but it probably more days than not. Because it is something that is kind of nebulous. Like it's not something that I would naturally do. And so the only way to get myself to like do it and feel like it's routine or it's going to come to me easily is to like practice it frequently. So some type of divergent thinking, growth mindset activity. I was looking at that this morning because I was like, I feel like that's something that I need. Um, so trying to figure out one of those. I think that I will probably also add back in my value reflection. So before I did the like to-do list with like what would feel good, I used to do a to-do list that was a 3-2-1 to-do list. So three things that need to be done today, two things I'll do if there's extra time, and then one thing I'll do that's just for me. And I would make the decision about those things based off of my values. So I have my value statements written down and they're like right above my desk. And so I would look at my values and be like, okay, what value like speaks most to me today and how can I connect what I'm doing to my values? I've gotten away from that and I feel like it would be helpful to bring that back into the fold. Especially because I want to live a value aligned life. And so the best way to do that is to connect the things that I'm doing with my values. So, yeah, I think those are probably my two big adds to the routine. And I'm definitely taking what you said about the messages, just message notifications with a name without all the content. Get out of here.
Yeah. I actually, you were talking about that first part about sort of the nebulous. Um, it's really resonating with the identity studio that I built in ChatGPT, where I do the meditation and then it has me answer questions in like a journal format. You might enjoy it. So I'll
Okay.
send you that you can play with it. You basically just say like morning, afternoon, or evening, and it will send you a prompt to like click on the link and take the meditation. You could do any meditation you want, right? Like we can make it so you could do any meditation you want. And then it asks you questions like, today I'm showing up as ... or I see myself as ... And it's different every time, right? Because when you meditate, there's different things going on, but you're aligned with your body and your soul kind of. And then the identity studio is sort of setting you out to be like, who is it that I want to be? How do I want to show up in the world?
Mm,
And then it sort of responds to what your responses are and gives you a pat on the back and sends you on your way.
we like it.
Yeah. So I'll send it to you. It might be kind of fun. It's a little janky. I wouldn't say it's like polished, but it's functional. So
Yeah.
but that's the meditation I'll be doing in the morning. So we can kind of test it out and see how we feel about it later on.
Yeah. I love that.
Okay.
Any
Anything else you
chat
want to talk
GPT?
about? Oh, yes, we have
Yeah, I was
more
going to
that's
say, let's
burning.
go there. I don't have anything else. Those are all of the things that were top of mind for me.
Yeah. I'm just very aware that I want to change my morning ritual. So that's my
Yeah.
focus.
There we go. We've learned.
Okay. Opening thought. Is your morning a launch pad for presence or just a list of check boxes? Guilty of that one. Let's talk about how to reclaim your mornings as a sacred ground instead of just the starting line for hustle. I
Mm.
see sacred ground as my grounds of coffee. That's my sacred ground. Talking point one, routines are efficient, rituals are meaningful. Routines are checklist driven, task focused, can become robotic. Rituals are intentional, grounded in meaning, connected to how you want to feel. Ask, do you brush your teeth just because you should or because it's part of caring for your future self? I feel like as I'm recreating my morning ritual list, I kind of want to have like the checklist part. And I feel like I should also have like the ritual part.
Mm.
I'm thinking in spreadsheets because I always do, but sort of like, kind of like the why and how I want to think about it and frame it. How do you feel about that?
I think, yeah, I think it's kind of like what I was saying about making the connection with my values. One of the meditations that I did in that Healthy Minds app a while ago was about like awareness of the things that you're doing that are part of compassion, specifically self-compassion, right? So like I'm brushing my teeth because the next time I go to the dentist, I don't want to have a conversation about cavities or about what's going wrong, or I care about my health and this is one of the ways that I express that I care about my health. And so it like had you go through your day and think about all of the things that you do that are an expression of compassion and care for yourself. And even I think just one day of that level of awareness and mindfulness will have you be like, oh, like, sure, I'm doing routine things, but like all these things actually mean something. And the fact that I continue to practice and do these things is a great thing that I'm doing for myself. So yeah, that's what I think about it. I think just even if you give yourself one day of really being mindful of all of the little things that you do that are an expression of that self-compassion and care, you'd be like, oh, I got to keep this up. I'm already doing a great job.
Well, and that plays into the time traveling gratitude thing too, right? Like I'm taking care of my future self. Yeah, I think that's fantastic. I need to tie more of those things together. So I'll do it in the way of a Google sheet, but yeah. Talking point 2, start with sensation, not just scheduling, literally what you talked about when you're in the bed and you're like, how's my body feeling? How do you want to feel in the morning? Calm, focused, energized. I feel like I want to do an exercise to make a list of things that I want to feel like in the morning. Interesting. Create rituals based on body cues, grounding, stretching, light, breath. Routines often start in the brain, rituals start in the body.
Routines often start in the brain, rituals start in the body.
Again, this is ChatGPT's opinion, so they don't know anything about waking up or
They
alarms or
don't,
any of
but
that
they got
stuff.
whoever they're pulling their information from, they know something.
They know something. Talking point 3, reclaiming means redefining success. I'm definitely in that category. You don't need to wake up at 5 a.m., journal for 45 minutes, and drink celery juice to win the morning.
Mhm. Yeah, what do you actually want to do versus the shoulding of all of these things? Because there is a lot of content about people's morning routine. I don't know if you remember when that guy went viral with the whatever that specific type of water he was drinking and dumping his face in the ice and then running really fast. His name was Ashton Hall, maybe. You have to look him up on TikTok, but he had like a this is my morning routine. He like woke up at 4 a.m., cut a banana, hopped in the shower, ran on the treadmill really fast, dunked his face in ice water, came out of the ice water, got on a Zoom call, went back downstairs to the pool, swam a couple of laps in the pool, went upstairs, took another shower. And I'm like, what is going
How is
on?
your skin on your body still? Like, come on.
You're doing a lot of things. And the commentary around like that, what type of morning routine is this and why would you do all these things? And I think you want to do those things if it is helping you get to whatever your desired state is. If it is actually helping you prime for the day that you have, then fantastic. But thinking of it as formulaic or like a specific recipe, if I do this, this, and this, then I'm going to get some sort of end result and feel better because everybody else says it, is not the approach that's going to get you to your desired state. Now, there are some ingredients that I feel like are probably more universal than not. Movement, right? A stretch, a walk, something to actually move your body, to return to your body, check in with your body and how it's feeling is probably a universal ingredient. Some sort of mind check in as well, whether that be meditation, whether that be prayer, whether that be journaling. That is probably also a universal kind of key ingredient. Food, nourishment, water, something like that, like something to give to that body that you are expecting and anticipating to perform well for you throughout the rest of your day. And then everything else is extra, is like extra in terms of tailoring to you and what you need in order for you to perform your best. But it is not like they said, it's not celery juice and journaling for a set amount of time. It's not praying for a set amount of time. It is not stretching or exercising for a set amount of time. It's like if you do those things, you are likely to feel better. And how you do it, how long you do it, what it looks like, that is all individual and unique to each person.
100%. I think the only thing I would add to that is your list of things that we should be, well, we want to be. I would say connection of some sort, right? Like whatever that looks like for you, but connecting with your spouse or your family or your best friend, like whatever it is. I think connection every day is important too.
I love that.
Maybe not part of the morning ritual, like do it on your own time, but yeah. Routines start in the brain, rituals start in the body. I really like that one.
Me too.
Keep that one. Talking point 3, reclaiming means, we just did that, talking about celery juice. Reclaiming equals defining what works for you in this season and with your life. Give
Mhm.
permission to pivot daily. Some mornings call for movement, other for stillness. I think others still call for silliness, which is what my brain wanted to read instead of stillness. I love silliness, so I'll add that to the list too. Talking point 4, examples of ritual versus routine. Routine task, make coffee. Ritual upgrade, make coffee while breathing with intention.
Hmm.
Check calendar is the routine task. Ritual upgrade would be journal one line first. Today I want to feel, being intentional about what you want to feel. And I think your activities for the day will sort of come from that, right?
Mhm.
So I like that ritual first and to-do list comes out of that. You were talking about that too. So ChatGPT agrees with you, obviously.
Pats on the back to me and ChatGPT.
Okay. Routine task, work out. Ritual upgrade, move your body with music that speaks to your soul. We talked about that a little bit too. Routine task, skincare slash makeup. Ritual upgrade, mirror affirmations while you're doing skincare. And that was sort of the Mel Robbins thing that I was talking about, putting your hand on the mirror, sort of like as you're getting ready. Yeah, I feel like we could make a much longer list than that, but that was a pretty good like summation. All right, talking point 5. What are we reclaiming it from? Right, that was sort of like where we started, like where we are and where we want to be. We're reclaiming from hustle culture.
Mhm. For
We'll talk
sure.
about that a little bit. Social media comparison. Can't get away from that one, so get away from
Mhm.
that. Reclaim it, right? Capitalist productivity pressure. We talked about that. I feel like we have like a very natural progression, like even considering what GPT had to say. The lie that how you start your day determines your worth. That's interesting.
I don't know if I've thought about that one. Does it
Hmm.
expand on that? Does it say anything else?
No, I can ask him to. Him, her, they, them. It'll take a minute. But
I think uh maybe the lie for me is that like how you start your day determines how the rest of your day is going to go. There's always an opportunity to reset, which is why I feel like the rituals that I have in the morning are at the beginning of my day because they prime me for success and like help me feel my best, but they would do that at any point in the day. So if by the time I have my first few meetings or by the time I start to engage with other people, I feel off again and it does not feel the way that I intended to feel, I can come back to those things. And maybe I don't have to do all of it, but I can take 5 minutes to meditate, or I can take a minute to look back at my intention for the day and reclaim some of what I set out to do and then set forward again with that renewed energy.
yeah, I like that for sure. All right, they are thinking, it gave us a bonus prompt for our viewers.
Mm.
What is one tiny ritual you can add tomorrow morning that brings you back to yourself?
Hmm.
She's thinking. Yeah, I like the concept too that, the morning ritual is going to change over time, as our lives change, right? Like, I don't have to get up at 4 in the morning to make it to work by 5:30 anymore. So I don't, that was a very short morning ritual. So
Mhm. Mhm.
it's like shower, pack a lunch, and I'm out of here. Yeah.
Yeah, and a part of the reason that it's short is because like sleep is also a part of self-care. And so if sometimes I'm like sometimes my morning ritual will change if I recognize that I did not get all the sleep that I needed. It's like I didn't sleep enough last night to do this well. I'm going to fall back asleep while I'm trying to meditate. I like to meditate with my eyes closed. That's the perfect recipe for me to fall back asleep. So I'm going to sleep for longer and do less of my morning routine in order to be able to be primed for success with sleep. And I can come back to meditation. I can still meditate at the end of the day or in the middle of the day. So yeah, I think being able to adapt and be resilient to how things change on a day-to-day basis, but also just in the season of your life is such an important skill, and one that still requires the awareness that you need to develop the morning rituals in the first place, right? Like if you recognize, oh, this isn't working or this isn't priming me in the way that I originally intended it to, then you can make a pivot and make a shift. But sometimes you need one of these. You need a face to face with a friend to be like, "Oh yeah, I am missing this thing," or actually that would be helpful for me to just kind of have the space to think about it.
Hmm. Yeah, I think having flexibility in the mindset about what the morning ritual is going to be is like super important because success in the morning ritual does look different. Like the thing was talking about that, yeah, getting up at 4 in the morning was a struggle and it was a success for me when I could do it every,
Mhm.
5 days a week and everything like that. So I think success now looks at different things and I have more say over what success looks like. So I think um, to the point of just sort of keeping up with the season of your life that you're in, that having your morning ritual set in such a way that is valuable to you, not necessarily to the rest of the world, having it as a value to you and your body and your soul. I think that's a good takeaway. It's just like be flexible about it as you go.
Mhm.
Okay, she came back. He, she, they came back. All right, so the statement was the lie. So this is things that we are reclaiming our mornings from. This point was the lie that how you start your day determines your worth. This idea is everywhere from self help books to 5 a.m. club gurus to TikTok
Mm,
routines. With
okay.
27 steps before sunrise, it's the belief that your morning isn't productive, you're already behind, lazy, or failing. It ties to your value or your output, and that's the root of burnout.
Oh, okay. I think I didn't understand because I never subscribed to that. I always thought that stuff was BS. I was like, it again, but not BS for everyone, just BS for me. Like, I
Mhm.
don't need to be up at 5 a.m. because I don't have a day that starts at 7. My day, I have flexibility. I can decide when my day starts. And if I just take this approach that, like, oh, the successful people are waking up at 5 a.m., so I should also start to wake up at 5 a.m. Why? For what? What's that? What extra? What is that going to actually get me? And how is it going to contribute to my success besides saying that I wake up at 5 a.m. the same way that like some celebrity with 4 kids does? We don't live the same lifestyle. We don't have anything. What do
Well,
we have in common?
let's just break out the consumerism of it, right? The guy made a club because he wants to make money.
Yeah.
It's not about your health or my health or even his health. He wants to make money. So let's just put the consumerism tag on that one and put it on the shelf. If waking up at 5 a.m. feels good, do it. If it doesn't, don't do it. It's got a couple more points here. Unpack the mindset behind it. Winning the morning equals winning the day sounds empowering until it becomes punishment for being human. We were just
Mm,
talking about that, like the resetting the day. I love that. We're told that successful people rise early, meditate, journal, read, run, drink lemon water, and generate passive income before 8 a.m. But most of us are just trying to wake up and survive. This message assumes your worth is built on doing, not being. And that
yeah.
is the real life. So it's that productivity mindset. What it actually does creates shame for slow mornings. I love a slow morning. The
1000%.
coloring, we should add the coloring back in. I should. My husband bought me a new book and I did that color. Um, Fuels internal criticism if your routine gets disrupted. That was literally your talking point just a moment ago. Makes neurodivergent folks, parents, caregivers, and folks with chronic illness feel like they're already failing the day. That is so true. Reinforces capitalist values.
Okay, you
Uh,
got it.
your time must be optimized or you're wasting it.
Yeah.
Here's the reframe. Here we go. Instead of how you start your day determines your worth, try how I care for myself in the morning sets the tone for my nervous system, which I think that guy you were talking about was doing a lot of things to like calm the nervous system or sort of, these are actions you can take to make your nervous system feel better. But why does your nervous system feel poorly in the first place? Right? You're running it ragged.
Yeah.
Um, my worth is not measured by my productivity, especially before coffee. I needed that one.
Wow. A bar.
Presence over perfection. Always.
1000%.
Morning peace does not equal morning performance. You are allowed to wake up at 9 and still be powerful. Start your day in stillness, not a sprint. Change your ritual depending on how you feel, not what a productivity coach told you. We are not productivity coaches, so this is a safe space for that.
We are sharing our personal experiences based off of where we are at right now and what we have found works for us. If any of it applies because you feel like you're in a similar stage as us or you relate to us, try it out. But if it doesn't work, also let it go.
Let it
That's the biggest part.
be inspired to think about it. What does feel
Yeah.
good, right? Listen to your body. What is your body telling you, right? So it's not necessarily that we have the keys to the kingdom. It's really the key to the kingdom is to like check in with yourself and do what feels right and what feels good. And I need to do more of that. So I love having these talks because it does inspire me to keep moving that direction for sure.
Yeah, 1000%. We are here to encourage, inspire, motivate you to think about this thing and not provide you with an answer. But that's also because we're coaches, right? Like that is a part of our job and the experience that you get in working with a coach. I'm not here to give you the answers because I can't give you the answers for you. Only you can give you the answers for you. I can give you the question that will help you come up with the answer, but the answer is yours to discover and to experiment with and to affirm. Because if I tell you something and it doesn't fit, don't come back to me like, you told me this. I never told you. I only told you what I do.
Well, and I think the other thing about coaching too is helping somebody make space and time to think only about, whatever it is that the goal is.
Mm-hmm.
So I think, giving the question, but then also making a space for that person to sort of like work through it and give themselves that time, right? The gift of self-care that way.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Okay. That is all that Chat GPT had for us. Anything else we should talk about?
No, I feel like we covered it all. What was the chat GPT question for reflection? You know the last thing that you said? Well, not the last, but you know what I mean. The last talking
The
point that we
last,
had.
the last before the last.
Yes.
Bonus prompt for viewers, also for
Mhm.
you and I. What is one tiny ritual you can add tomorrow morning that brings you back to yourself?
Mm.
I'm going to do the changing the name of my alarm to ask myself how my body is feeling today. And what was the other one? Oh, coloring. I'm also going to make my checklist today too. So I have that ready to rock and roll.
I'm going to add in my value reflection, connecting the things that I have on my to-do list to my values. And this is simple. It's just like this connects to this value. And I'm still figuring out what the divergent thinking growth mindset activity might be. That's a part of my morning ritual, but I'm gonna think about that so that way I can and add it in.
Well, yeah, I'm going to send you that identity studio thing too. You can play with that and see if you like it. It may fit, it may not, but yeah, I'll send that to you. I'm also adding to our list of topics, developing a value list. I would like to sort of talk through how that works. I would like one. I don't have one, but I feel like there may be people that would go for that as well. And then for our next episode, did you want to do reclaiming your evening since we did reclaiming your morning today?
Yeah, let's keep it up.
Okay, cool. All right. I think that's it for us today.
Okay, I'm gonna stop the recording.